Hey y'all, you got Doug Bohr, Dougie Doo here with Cajun Softwash. Today we're going to talk a little bit about getting the gearbox off of your pressure washer motor. This is a Honda GX690. This is a Water Dragon from the Power Wash store. So let me move over here first. So this is what they look like. Most of you that are watching this probably already know that, but so I'm going to show you back on the other pump, but we had a pump break on us. We used the Udor 8 gallon a minute units. We had a pressure pump break on us. So we were told to separate the gearbox from the motor itself. And so in trying to do that, you take these 4 bolts off, and then you have to separate these two. This one here is a fairly new unit. It would probably come off pretty easy, but as they sit over time, they're not so easy to get off. So when our pressure pump broke on the other one, we took the bolts off, and I tried everything to get this off. I just couldn't get it off. What I ended up doing in order to replace this pump was I took the gearbox apart. I think it's 5 or 6 bolts through here. You take those off, and then there's 4 bolts that have this housing of the gearbox that attaches to the pump itself. So we were able to do that and swap out our pump. Well, this time what happened was we had a key break. The key actually broke right here on the shaft. And so there's no way, I mean, we had to take the gearbox off of the motor. So this time I went ahead and again I separated the bolts, and I took the gearbox apart. By taking the gearbox apart, it allows the gearbox to actually rotate freely once you remove the 4 bolts from the motor housing. So I got those off, but same problem as before. There's just that thing does not want to come off. So I wanted to show you a little bit about how we got it off and kind of the process. Taking those bolts off, Paul Cassander at the Power Wash store had walked me through this the last time as far as what to expect. And so Paul had said to get as much lubricant on there as you possibly can, and just keep putting it on there and keep putting it on there. So what we did was we went ahead, and in the gearbox you've got these little slots that allow you to get kind of down inside a little bit. So you can kind of spray through here and get closer to the shaft. As you can see, the shaft is recessed anyhow, and the key is recessed. So you're not really going to get in there, but if you keep putting the lubricant on there, spin your motor a little bit, spin this housing. So what we did was we took our chisels here. I'm going to go back over to this one. And we basically took them inside between the motor and the shaft, and we tapped them in, okay? We got them to where they were in a nice bind, one top and one bottom, right? Got them to where they were in a nice bind, but if you try hitting these too hard, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either this piece is going to break or this piece is going to break. So you don't want to pound them on there. So you get them in to where they're nice and snug. And then you spray your lubricant on there. And then you start tapping a little bit on the outside edges, right? Then you let it sit while you still have these in place, okay? I left it sit for an hour or 2, just kind of keeping pressure on it. Came back, tapped them in a little bit further, threw a little bit more lubricant on there. Came back about 2 hours later. I pulled them out. I rotated the engine. I rotated this piece, the gearbox housing. Put my chisels back in there. Again, put it under a bind. Put some more lubricant on there. I did that actually for 2 days. I would leave it sit overnight with the chisels in place nice and tight. Come back in the morning, tap them in just a little bit further. And lo and behold, about midway through the second day, you know, it gave way and was able to take this the gearbox off. Next thing I'll have to do is actually get that key out of there. But I know for me, I'm very, very mechanical. I do almost all of this stuff myself, virtually everything myself. So for me, if I haven't done something before, it's nice if I can see it ahead of time so I know what I'm facing. You're going to feel like there's an extra bolt or something that's holding that in there, but it's not. It literally is just being held on by the rust and the shaft, all that. So again, thanks to Paul Cassander at the Power Wash store for the advice on how to get that thing off of there. And so now this gearbox is off. This gearbox actually needs to be replaced. You're not going to be able to see it, I don't think, but when the key broke, it actually broke the inside of the gearbox where the key goes. So we'll have to just replace that altogether. So I appreciate y'all for listening to me. And again, this is a Honda GX690 motor with a gearbox drive to an Udor 8-gallon a minute pressure washing pump, and it's called the Water Dragon. Appreciate y'all for listening to me, and Dougie Do out.